So notice in the motions here, I'm already dealing with this, eyes on that, eyes on that.
You make this assumption all the time that someone's carrying?
Always. Because even if he's not carrying a inanimate weapon, these are still considered weapons. So, whereas if I just dealt with this, that's there. Whether I just dealt with this, those are the other weapons that are part of it. Whether I grab onto this, he's got other pieces I can use. People usually deal with only what's being captured and forget that other parts create space.
This is sounds very Krav Maga, Sistema.
I have no idea about what they do. I only do what I do. I'm sure they're very good at what they do. We do everything based on the fact that there's a weapon involved. So that's all I'm worried about. I'm always worried about him pulling a knife. Eventually it's going to come out. Because weapons are meant to be felt, right? Not seen. So I'll never see the weapon. And what do you need for weapons in our terms of, aside from firearms? I need distance. So if I were to, or the mentality there is to pull a blade out, he's going to run. I don't have the distance. I've warned him. Whereas if this stays hidden and these are shown, it's a mano a mano to get to this idea, or you give him the false sense of security that he's got me. Now I have distance. Now it's too late. Because he didn't give the respect that he's carrying, that I'm carrying. And by then, by the time you realize you've been punched, it ain't a punch. Probably could be more lethal in the mentality of those who carry weapons. People who carry weapons carry a lot of them. Some of the questions happens also with a lot of people who don't have the respect. It's just to shoot in. And it's been shown already where in bladed situations, and the idea there is to take what is not available. In this particular case, a thumb or impact into the throat, or a knife could go right into the throat, or the twitching of the head as it comes in, right? So it's just basically controlling the head as it's coming in, but not to grapple, to get out of there. Because I'm thinking, he may be one person, what about everybody else around you? That's only because of the mentality of, I don't want to go to the ground when weapons are involved. We learn how to go to the ground to defend ourselves, but that's not our forte. The forte of the ground is to grapple and stay there, because that's their comfort zone. Not my comfort zone when weapons are involved. It's good to know though, because everything ends up on the ground eventually, but you got to know how to defend or get out of that. Think about weapons all over the ground. You're going to stay there and lay down and roll around? What about the guys who are standing behind you, ready to, waiting for just a knife and get in? That's the mentality of what you have in the world of weapons. People think it's you know, they don't understand that it's an art form, but it's also, to a lot of people, cultural. And that's just the way it's been. Isn't something new. It's in this idea of chivalry and fairness. Let's go back centuries and centuries ago. It's always been the case. When it's combat, it's fighting, it's weapons. When it's a chivalry thing, that's only a modern phenomenon of getting in there and fair fighting. Maybe Kali is not meant for fair fighting, and I really think of it as something as survival, so that I can protect my family. I'm not going to stand here to submit and exchange blows so that you get up and we could do it again. I want to make sure that I'm alive at the end of the day so that I go back to my family. And sometimes the choices you make may not be the best, and there are always consequences to what you do when you start to raise the bar of lethality. So you really have to have your grounding values and abide by the laws. And if you break those laws, are you justified in what you do? Everything that I do is fun. I don't do this because I ever expect to get into violence. But one of the things that we do in the medical field is when there's a disease, you don't hide and run away from the disease or avoid it. You study it, you delve in it so you know how to protect against it. And the same thing here. With a lot of things that we do, it's very violent. Well, that's because I want to understand the nature of mechanics. Do I have to put the violence there? Well, that's something that we've been exposed to with the law enforcement training and military, the civilian world understanding that, but I don't want to be part of that. it's about the art form for me and the fun factor. And I just enjoy the mechanics, the art form of moving and enjoying what we do. That's about it.
It just so happens to be a deadly art.
It just so happens. The medium is edge impact weapons. But